Chai,
Chai,
chai me,
chai me,
chai me, bitch,
chai me, bitch,
chai me, bitch.
chai me, bitch.
Yapping all the way, yeah, I've got the whole day. Chai,
Chai,
chai me, bitch,
chai me, bitch.
chai me, bitch. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Chai Me Bitch. I am your girl Preetipls, and today I am joined with two of my longtime friends. And when I say long time, I mean way too long. These guys are Oliver and Jake. So, I mean, you can say hi at this
Hi.
point lah.
Hey.
Hey, what up?
If I
Hello.
if I come off as really mean to them, it's fine. It's fine. We are really mean to each other. That's what friends do. So if you're gonna leave a comment and be like, "Wow, Pretty treats her guests like shit," then honestly, guys, I know that's the point. So yeah,
Do it.
yeah, it's
Don't
Oliver
like
and
the
Jake.
comment.
Jake's not even his real name. He's
Yeah.
an imposter.
Yeah.
So we're going right into it. Just talking shit about Jay. So in today's episode, I brought two of my very good friends here because I wanted to talk about looking for a job amidst a global pandemic, and also being like friends from Mass Comm. We also wanted to share our experience studying mass communication and how that has helped us do what we do today or what we're trying to do today, and pretty much everything that we've learned from there and our biggest takeaways, I guess, and job experience, job search stuff. So all of that, because I hope it'll be useful for you guys out there, because I think a lot of my followers are also really young and they can relate. They were like basically us 5 years ago, like still in school and stuff, trying to figure things out. So hopefully it'll be useful. But before we get into all that, I want to shout out everyone that's making this happen. Of course, thank you, Oliver and Jake, for being here today and in my life. Yeah, but also shout out to Wee-san, who is behind the scenes helping us with everything and helping us, like, tell me if I'm just yapping too much, basically. Shout out to Jayden behind the camera, who is always does a little dance when I say his name. Like, no one can see, it's just for my eyes. And shout out to Audio Technica for all the equipment that you see on set right now. And shout out to Alif for the soundboard that I have with me that you are gonna hear me probably every time Jake talks. I'll press something and shut him up. Yeah. So that's all the shout outs today. But before we begin, we need chai in our cups because it's Chai Me Bitch. So Wee-san, come on,
Yeah.
pour us some chai. Today got 3 cups. Working overtime.
Thank you, Isan.
Thank you, Isan.
Wow, we love when he talks back. Gets us all riled up. I'm sorry, that's too much. But yeah, so chai today is really good. So hope you guys enjoy it.
Yes, not enough for refills.
Hey, we have summer, okay?
That's not
Relax.
too much.
Yeah, you're such a difficult guest. Okay, so you want to take your cup on your own or you want a wine? So mean. Hey, cheers first ah. Oh la, drink your chai without cheersing.
Cheers.
Hey, cheers. Hey. Good chai.
You haven't drink yet.
Ooh,
Mm,
very nice. Silky.
very rich.
It has like a vanilla taste, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's damn
I
nice.
love it. Yeah, it's damn nice. Okay, wait, let me try and navigate this microphone. Okay. So now that we all have a sip of chai and we're ready to start yapping. Sorry, my mic keeps going away from me. Okay, it's fine now. So let's talk about, I guess, let's just give everyone context. Let's talk about how we know each other, which is basically from poly. And why are you smiling? He's so like guilty that he even knows us. Yeah, but we really know each other from 2012. And I guess, yeah, we all met at Mass Comm. So I guess the first question is, why did we all go into Mass Comm? Like, what do you guys even want to do from the start?
Jake?
Oh, me first.
Yeah,
Okay.
you.
Like I think when I entered Mass Comm, my dream was to be like a radio DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then eventually, as time went on, then I realized, oh, actually, I'm more into like filming and all that. So, yeah.
I mean, I guess you do have a radio voice and a radio face.
Ah.
So still could work out, you know.
Well, wah, wah on
That's
that.
an old joke though, the radio face, but
Yes.
it's still true.
Oh, but gold.
Old but
It's
gold.
still true. How about you, Ali?
When I was in secondary school, I was in drama, so that doesn't really link to Mass Comm, but there's some
Kinda.
kind of weird link there that I thought, because I always liked film. You know, I enjoyed watching films since I was very young, so I guess Mass Comm was just my way of. It's like the only thing in poly that I might have wanted to do. You know, because I know I didn't want to go JC for. I just thought I wasn't cut out for that. So I think the main reason why I went into Mass Comm is it was the only poly course that sounded fun to me. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, that's true. It does sound like the most fun thing,
Yeah.
even if like
And it
you
was
didn't go to
fun.
poly.
It was
Yeah.
very fun.
So no regrets?
Nope, no regrets.
Yeah, no regrets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so did you guys do what you set out to do when you enter Mass Comm, basically? So do you end up doing anything radio related?
No, zero. I did a bit of like radio heatwave in Ngee Ann, but then that was just like a CCA. Then after that, it's no more radio related. Even my internship was different.
So basically, would you say like because of Mass Comm, you realized that you have like a bigger passion somewhere else instead of radio?
Yeah. And also cause like through Mass Comm, then I meet like a couple of friends, right? And then we were all like film shit, like him, me, and a few other people. And we were just like
Me also. I'm
yeah,
right here.
yeah.
All of us,
Yeah,
right?
all
Yeah,
of
yeah.
us. Are
Oh, you
basically
weren't part
in
of
different-
Wolf House lah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wolf
god.
House Inc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we would like film random shit, and people would start saying like, "Oh, Jake, creative genius, creative genius."
Nobody has ever said that.
Nobody in his life has ever called him.
We all call him a creative genius.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Sarcastically.
sarcastically. But then I sort of took that as like, oh, actually cool. Then I started making more videos, and then
Your ego boost lah.
yeah, it's a bit of an ego boost lah. Yeah, and then that sort of gave me a bit of confidence to try out new things.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
legit, I think like obviously me and Ollie can verify that because back in school, I think every single time we were done with like assignments, or maybe before even we began our assignments, we just hung out at random lecture halls in school, and Jake would like bring his camera. We would film the most random like short films or like
nonsense.
yeah, absurd is the word. And I think you weren't even using a camera. I think you used your
like
iPhone.
like people's
Yeah.
iPhones, just
Yeah.
borrow.
And then I remember being like the lighting bitch for one of us holding the iPhone flashlight. Yeah, so we did that at every corner of like Ngee Ann Poly. Like anywhere and everywhere we thought this was a set for some ridiculous story. We were just like both of them mainly would like come up with dumb shit and then we'll make it happen. And then like there were Iron Man videos also.
Fight
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah, probably the first time you tried out special effects for
Yep.
fun.
Honestly, it was like shooting lasers out of their hands.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun lah. So basically, what did we learn from in poly? Doing nothing at all lah. Just no, I'm kidding. Yeah, but Ollie, what do you like when you enter Mass Comm? What do you want to do?
I don't know that I really wanted to do anything in particular lah. Like, I just thought that it was something, you know, close to film in a way, you know, close to being like a performer or, you know, anything in that realm. So I really didn't have anything that I wanted to do. I guess through poly, like, I started to have some ideas, like, you know, when we were doing advertising modules, like, I did think that, oh, this is a pretty, you know, cool, it's like Mad Men, you know, it's like oh, it's a pretty cool kind of lifestyle. But then, you know, after some actual experiences in agencies and stuff, then I'm like, nah, I don't know, it's like everything, it kind of like Mass Comm introduced it to me, but then you also see like the sort of bad side of it, then it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I never really found something. But radio was always interesting and filming was always interesting. Yeah.
I guess a lot of Mass Comm is figuring out like what you don't like also in the media
Yeah.
industry. And I mean, like even right now, I feel like in our third year in Mass Comm, obviously we got to choose like what we wanted to specialize in. And I think maybe like out of the three of us, I think Jake took something that was a lot more like focused and specialized, right? Because you did things that were more related to like
Just
film stuff.
speaking, but it's
Oh,
not,
yeah, there
it's
was
like it was just like an easy combo. It was
Right,
just
right,
like
right.
drama, Matt Press, and radio.
Right. Oh yeah, but
Yeah,
we
they're
do
all
have
like the
a bunch
same
of
things.
like other friends like Jana and
Yeah.
Aloysius and stuff, like our other friends who took like all three like final year modules
Filming
were
related
all
stuff.
film.
TV,
Yeah.
filming.
Yeah,
and
so I
everything,
guess the three of us are more like we took the more generic ones because I also did like advertising, radio, PR.
Trying to be practical, I guess, in a way.
Wow, you call our friends impractical? No, no,
Well,
lah, but I mean,
I mean, now we know who really is impractical lah. So
wow. Yeah, but I mean, I guess it's a lot of our friends knew exactly what they wanted when they went into Mass Comm, I feel. Like for a couple of our friends, they just knew from the start, okay, it's going to be film related. And all their modules or all the decisions they had to make throughout the 3 years were all like related to that or specific to that. But I think for a couple of us, like I'm glad we had the opportunity to keep it generic also, because it just helped us figure out like what we're good at lah. Because like me and Ollie, we took advertising together, and I think we definitely enjoyed the final year module a lot, and we killed it lah. We did such a great job.
We were good at it.
Yeah, so I think like that helped us figure out like okay, I obviously want to do something in marketing or advertising, and technically what I do now is not like an agency job, but it's literally advertising, marketing. So it's cool how things worked out, because I wanted to be a journalist, but I hated, like I did not enjoy it in poly. I was like, I do not enjoy being like a part of this news writing thing. Magazine stuff was, yeah. So, wow, that's an inside joke, by the way. Yeah, but yeah. So we had a lot of fun lecturers in Ngee Ann Poly. I think if you are a Ngee Ann Poly kid right now and you are in FMS, Film Media Studies, you probably know all the same lecturers that we had, because some of them are OGs that have been there forever. Like Sharon Ismail, Mr. Ramani, like Mr. Yoka. Like I love Mr. Yoka. So who's your favorite lecturer? Come tell me. Who has impacted your life in poly, in Mass Comm?
Wow, this kind of thing.
Yeah, must say one.
Yeah,
Actually,
pick a
honestly, quite a few of them lah. Quite a few of them. Miss Lina in the beginning was very encouraging.
She was our marketing.
Yeah, marketing,
lecturer.
Marcom lah, marketing communications or whatever. Sharon Ismail was also very like, I thought she was pretty cool, you know, and she was very like, I don't know, she really like all the presentations and all that. She told me that I was good, and like I was like, oh wow, you know, like to hear that from someone who is really good, you know, like when they're, you know, teaching and you know their background, they do all the things that they do, then it's like, wow, it's very affirming.
It's legit lah.
Yeah, it's very legit. Yeah.
How about you, Jake?
For me, it would be like I would say Dr. Felix.
Oh, Dr. Felix.
Yeah, he was our radio teacher in year 1.
Yeah, he was like always our friend.
Yeah.
We had a lot of lecturers who were pretty much our friends lah.
Yeah.
Poly was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I think we learned like a lot from poly. It was really a defining time in like all our lives, and especially what we do today. So I think let's talk about like, okay, obviously if you're watching this, you know what I do today, so let's not get into that. But what do you do today, Jake?
I'm a freelance videographer, DP, editor kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so if you have heard the name Jake Low, if you watch my stuff, if you follow me, you've probably heard Jake's name, because Jake has shot so many of like my music videos and my brother's music videos as well. So yeah, we work with Jake way too often, honestly.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a lot of fun for me, because I work with my friends a lot, like even Jayden right now. It's like for the longest time we've discussed like, okay, we need to work together, but we don't know what. So it's just waiting for like perfect opportunities. So like, yeah, like for Jake, it's always, every time there's a music video, like we don't think about anyone else lah. So it's just very easy to work with friends. And I always like tell people that I meet, like I got very lucky because I went to Mass Comm. So my friends are super talented, and it's like there's someone for anything, you know. If I need help with something, like I can turn to my closest group of friends. So yeah, it really like it's insane like having so much talent. But thanks Jake for shooting a lot of the stuff that people see online. And I just plugged Jake so hard. Yeah, but anyways, Ollie, so what?
Go on, ask it.
What do you do, Ollie?
I do nothing.
He really does it.
Well, I mean, I try to do, you know, some freelance stuff, you know, if I can get jobs, like freelance voice acting or, you know, writing in any kind of way, you know, but, well, yeah, I wouldn't say that I really do a lot of it, but, I mean, yeah, right now, you know, I'm just looking for work and, yeah.
Okay, but backstory is that Ollie just graduated from university. So it's not like you've been looking for a job for like years and doing nothing forever. So clearly we're all experiencing a global pandemic right now. So when Ollie graduated, it was just April, right? This year, April, May.
Yeah, June.
Oh, yeah. So just a few months ago, Ollie just got back like from the UK. So Jake also studied overseas, but Jake graduated last year.
July 2019.
So Jake went to Australia instead. Yeah. So why do you guys also, like, why do y'all want to go overseas for a degree after Mass Comm?
My dear friend, please.
yours is a more recent memory.
Yeah, yours. Go ahead, Ollie.
Why go overseas? I think, okay, well, to be fair, I did apply to all, you know, the big Singapore unis at first, but I couldn't really get into the courses that I wanted, like PPE at SMU.
What's PPE?
That's philosophy, politics, and economics.
Wow.
It's like the future politician grooming kind of course lah, which I thought
Damn.
was pretty cool, but
Mm-hmm.
couldn't get in. Just yeah. So I did think that because I like have a personal interest in what I wanted to study, which was philosophy and psychology in general. So I did think that studying in the UK would be quite a classical kind of education for that domain. And yeah, I mean, of course, there's also the the aspect of wanting to be overseas and like try to separate away from Singapore so that you can gain a different perspective, a bigger perspective, and yeah, which definitely did happen, I would say, and yeah, it did do all the things for me that I thought it would, or I expected that it would, and it was a very different kind of education. And yeah, what about you?
Like I'd say for me, like I didn't want to study something, like I didn't want to do university in a very like typical fashion where it's just like go to school and do nothing. So I thought going overseas, especially to Melbourne, was like it didn't feel like school, cause my school was just like downstairs my house, and then I was like living in the city, so it's like a lot of things to do. So it just felt like a 1.5 year long holiday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Wow, so-
with a bit of school inside.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
with a bit of school.
Yeah, so yeah, like it wasn't a super like formal kind of setting. Yeah, like even like the school's architecture made it more like dynamic. It was more like
Only
a bit
person-
of like lumps around the building and whatnot.
Only person who would consider school architecture.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's quite dynamic lah.
But I really think like clearly a huge part of studying overseas is the lifestyle change, like that, the change
Yeah.
of scene, atmosphere. And I mean, personally also, if I were to ever like have to make the decision, I think a huge part of picking the overseas one would be like a complete change in scene lah. And the fact that we've been here for so long and like in this system for so long, and taking a break from it would seem very refreshing lah.
And
So,
also
I
the
get it.
kind of like the view of education that they have lah, like at least for me, when I was studying philosophy, but even though they were very, my uni was a very like, it's a very old uni with a lot of with the philosophy department is very old and established, but they were never too restrictive about it. They let you kind of like explore whatever you want to explore. And they like, I wanted to write my thesis on something very like something obscure in film, but they still took it very graciously, and they were like very encouraging and all that. So I mean, I don't know if it would be different in Singapore lah. They might be a bit more academic about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Like for me, when I went overseas, like something that was quite jarring was that everyone was super like opinionated. Like everyone in the class, like they had something to say, even though it's like a short point, right? But then
Yeah.
they'll like talk until like 5 minutes.
What about you?
I mean, like I'm naturally quite reserved, so I just like then.
Say only quite reserved. Okay lah, honestly Jake
Yeah.
is, but it's just
Reserved lah.
but when you like no, but when you like know Jake well enough, he is literally the weirdest person you will meet. So hearing him say he's reserved is funny lah for
Yeah.
us.
So, yeah, like it's quite a change in scene to see everyone like speak up in class. Like I don't see that in Singapore.
Yeah.
At least for me lah.
I mean, like obviously, if we want to talk about like the Singaporean education system, that's a whole other episode lah. But I think I get what you mean. Like, it's a lot of people are just like accustomed to just, okay, I probably shouldn't say this, or I probably can't. No one's gonna hear me out. And I think we definitely see a lot of that also, like with the classic Singaporean like mentality or mindset, or just the assuming that your word has no power, or like it's better it's convenient to not say anything. So I get that, and that's obviously something that I see a lot with like the work that I do lah, and the stuff that I talk about. So I can understand how like I get it lah when you say you go overseas, it's a complete change because everyone has an opinion. I think we all do. It's just a matter of who dares to speak up lah. Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely interesting.
They're
for sure.
very political. The students are all very political. They, that's well, I guess the students here might be political also, but they don't say it lah.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like whether they show it. It's the environment lah they were brought up in for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after like yours was how many years? 1.5 years, right?
1.5, yeah.
Then Ollie it's 4.
3 years.
Oh, 3 years. So after that, any regrets? Would you change a thing? Would you do anything differently? A different course, or maybe even studying uni locally instead?
But like before I applied to Melbourne, I also tried applying for like NUS, NTU, ADM, those kind. Then I
Yeah.
got rejected for all.
Yep.
So, but then now when I think back, I'm like, oh, lucky I never go and I didn't go into a local U.
It would have taken way longer also
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
And
'cause-
like I wouldn't feel enough growth.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Growth. Yeah, I think for me it would be growth in a personal kind of sense. You know, not
Mm.
really in an education sense. But I think there's always like a little bit. You know, somewhere in your mind you think that. It might not be a regret, but you could have always, done more with that time. Now that I, for me it's over and I'm back here trying to find a job and everything. I still do think, there could have done a lot more with my time there.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah,
so.
it's a lot of what ifs, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you are gonna go overseas and study, you should definitely really think that is 3 or 4 years or whatever. That is a really different time in your life, and you really got to make the most out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. I think like the closest thing I experienced to that was my poly internship.
Mm.
So being in Cambodia for 6 months was Ollie also did an overseas internship. His was in Hawaii. So we briefly, like Wisa and I briefly talked about this internship in episode 1. But I think being overseas for such a long period, like for 6 months, also made me feel like but I was pretty young back then, so obviously I wasn't thinking a lot about career prospects, what I want to do in the future. It was just, oh my god, like I'm not in Singapore for such a long time. Like I can do anything I want. It's a very childlike mentality because I was 18. But like, yeah, now that I think about it, like that was easily one of the highlights of going to Mass Comm. Like that was, it's up there, like it's one of the best things that has happened in school because. When else am I ever gonna go to Cambodia and live there and make that decision to be like, you know what, I'm gonna work here for a couple of months. Yeah, so I think Mass Comm was collectively a very good decision for all of us.
Yeah.
And I think that do you have any advice for anyone else out there who's considering should I study uni here? Should I go overseas? Like any advice? So what should they consider before making the decision?
Well, if you can afford it, definitely would recommend overseas.
Yeah, it's of
as
course
tough-
price point is a
yeah.
huge factor lah.
As tough as it may seem,
Mm-hmm.
like you think like, no what, Singapore now is a first world country. What's the difference between here and Australia, here and UK, or whatever? It's a first world. But I'm telling you, there is a difference.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where you really gotta experience it. And I
Yeah.
know that before you went overseas, you went to like go there first and suss out the school and check it out, right?
No, not.
Oh wait,
I
you
didn't.
checked. It was Shaista,
Yeah,
right?
it
Who
was
wanted to check.
Shaista.
Yeah. But basically, if you can afford to doing that, will obviously be great also to like kind of see the environment. It's like kind of going for open house overseas, very expensive open house lah. But if you can afford it, or if you have the luxury of being in that country already, do your research lah.
Yeah.
Find out what you can or everything about it, or speak to like your seniors, people who have already been there, done that. Yeah.
And it's very different from like just like you think, oh, UK, then I just go there for holiday. I don't have to go there now. But then when you're living there, right, like you can things that you would do or like such as like waiting for a bus or like waiting for a train or something. On holiday you wouldn't do that. You just like cab around, right? Right, typically.
And I think when you're on
The
vacation,
rice
it's
bowl
a
big, right?
No.
yeah, Jake's rice bowl, then we freelance, then actually no, but then I think
But
it's a
It's different from a
the mentality.
Holiday,
When you're traveling there for fun, you don't think about like
Yeah.
your actual lifestyle there or what would it feel like if I lived there. And it's difficult to compare because when you're on holiday, everything is amazing.
Yeah,
like
everything like hotel.
it seems
everything,
perfect to live there, but
restaurants,
in
everything.
reality, like if you have friends living there already, like speak to those friends because they'll tell you how it's really like lah. Yeah, so I think it's a lot of doing a lot of research for sure lah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
lot of
so
research. I think it's a no matter what it's still a very personal decision. Like like people will definitely recommend that you go overseas and study, but it really it's what you want out of your uni life. If you are in a more exploratory space and you want to figure out a bit more about yourself or your interests, whatever, then maybe going overseas will give you it gives you a lot of personal space. That's one thing. It gives you a lot of independence to you're away from your family and everything, and your normal group of friends and your circle, so you have that space to really figure out like what kind of life you like to lead, and that teaches you a lot about yourself. But at the same time, if you just really want a uni, you want a degree that helps you get a job, then it's not that important where you get that degree. Then local is just as good uni wise. So personal decision lah.
Yeah, but realistically speaking, I think like how both of you guys shared, myself also, when I wanted to go to uni. Like the plan in my head was always after Mass Comm, go get a degree. And I also, like, both of them applied everywhere, and I got rejected from everything. And the only school that like called me back for an interview was Yale NUS, and that to me was the most like confirm cannot get in school. So of course I botched the interview, and then I didn't get into any school. But I so now looking back, it's a huge blessing in disguise, because
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was going to do as well, and I had a lot of figuring out to do. So that gave me the time to take a gap year, which became 2 gap years, which became my career. So yeah, I think it's really different for everyone. And of course, like, do your research, ask around. Everyone has been through that whole graduating from poly and having to figure out a lot of things, for sure. So yeah, there's a lot of like avenues where you can like just seek advice and help and stuff. So I guess now we've talked a lot about our Mass Comm experience and what we got out of it. But after this, I do want to focus a little bit more about like the job search aspect of things and what's going on now, how difficult it is to find a job, and why does freelancer Jake want a full-time job? Let's find out. Okay, so we talked about like what we did in the past. So we graduated from Mass Comm. We talked about looking for deciding where to go for like university overseas or local, or me, nothing at all. We talked about all that, but I guess I want to talk about what's happening right now in present day. So right now, both Jake and Ollie are looking for jobs, but it's very different because Jake has been working as a freelance like videographer and also works like with a production house really closely. And Jake basically has a job he's been having a lot of work since he's graduated from school. So the question I want to put out there is, why a lot of people always like talk about how actually you freelance, you can work your own time, own target, earn a lot of money. So why are you, as a freelancer who is a pretty successful freelancer, I would say, because work with me, I got hired him before, why are you looking for a 9-to-5 full-time job?
Like, okay, so for me, right, when I'm working freelance, what I would tend to do is to just take every single job. Even though people say, oh, you can manage your time, blah, 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 blah. But because you're trying to hustle, you're trying to make money, because it's not like a steady thing. So you want to get every single job if you can do it. Then I end up like taking too much, and then I start overworking myself.
Right.
Yeah. And then just when I finish all the jobs, right, now I start feeling, oh my God, like there's nothing left. Then I'll start to get back into that. Oh, I'm going to take more. Then
Yeah.
so it's a vicious cycle, I feel. Just to keep that income coming in.
Kind of like no boundaries, like no control.
Exactly. Yeah, there's
Right.
no boundaries. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's I get it, because like technically what I do, I'm also freelancing. Right? Technically I get jobs when I get jobs, and when a gig comes in, I get the need or like the urgency you feel of like, okay, I gotta take this, because if I don't take this, then I don't know if like I'm gonna get another gig that's this good, or like another gig that's similar to this or something like that. So I get that, like, in a sense, technically I'm a freelancer too, because working on my own and as and when, there's no like fixed number of gigs that I get and stuff like that. So I get the whole like hustle, and trying to like feeling like rejecting something would mean a huge loss in your rice bowl, or like a huge loss of income. So it just gets very stressful, because there's no limit and there's no boundary set, because it's, first of all, not a 9-to-5 job. There is no such thing as pangkang, no such thing as you leave your work, because your work is wherever you are. And yeah, I think like it's, and especially when you are when you do production, you take your work home with you, you edit, you're like constantly working on a project, and it's never ending. So
He
I
was
get
editing right just now.
He was editing
right before we came here.
seconds before we were like, okay, we need
It
to
was like-
roll.
Yeah.
So it's really nonstop, and you feel like you're just afraid to reject something, because you feel like you don't know when a gig like this is gonna come back, and you just have no control over the as much as you have own time, own target. I think it's too much free reign for yourself, and you just don't know what to do with
I
all
like
that.
to be told what to do, man.
Ew.
No, but like,
Yes, bitch. Yuck.
Drown
So why
him
you
out,
gotta?
please.
Yeah, you like to be told what to do.
Oh.
I'm so disgusted.
Now he's
no,
blushing.
just to give some sort of direction. And also because not just bring home, like you don't just bring home your work. You bring your work with you to holiday as well. Because in my case, when I was like last year in September, I went to last in October I went to UK, and then the moment I landed, I went to the hotel, I edited for 4 hours, then
Wow.
I left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't get to go out lah.
Yeah, I get it. It's
Yeah.
like there's really no boundary between personal space and personal time and stuff like that. Cause yeah, like I said, there's no fixed working hours. You can't just tell this person, oh, I'm not working now, because your job it's just way too flexible to the point where you are everything. You know, you have to say yes to this. Like without you, the job, the project won't just, you know, like there's no other colleague that's gonna take over for you.
Yeah.
Because as a freelancer, like you get your own shit done lah. That's why it's a very like the need to hustle. You know, you feel the need of like, oh my god, I gotta get this done. I gotta get that done. Only if I finish this, I can take on another gig, and it's just super chaotic lah. So basically, you want to get a full-time job, so it's a bit more managed, control,
Yeah.
and you
more
don't
structure to
take
it
so
lah.
much work home lah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
And
that
sort of-
makes
I can sort
sense.
of plan my finances like a bit better.
Like you have time to do all these things lah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess the big question when people talk about freelancing and working full time is obviously the money, the income, and people always assume that as a freelancer, you know, you code whatever you want, you do whatever you want. It could be a massive gig that comes in and you're set for like the next few months. But of course, there are some months where it's quiet, and of course, when COVID hit, I'm pretty sure like a lot of freelancers, you know, didn't get gigs for a while, so had to live off savings for sure. So when you talk about like earning money as a freelancer and getting a fixed pay every month as a full-timer, is that a huge factor as to why you want a full-time job, or do you think both ways it's pretty much the same?
I wouldn't say it's because of the money. Because as a freelancer, when I calculate, right, even though some months are like a bit lesser, some months are a bit more, it sort of evens out after 1 year to become sort of like a
Averages
like,
out.
yeah,
Normal
like an average full-time pay. Yeah. So, but just that you're working on stuff that you like lah.
Yeah, that's true. You get to
and
pick
stuff
what you
that
want
you're
to do.
proud of making.
Oh, so you work full-time job, you hate all your work lah. No, I'm kidding.
It's not you,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you know like you wouldn't get to choose what you're
Yeah, for
working
sure.
on. in a
You don't
full-time
get to
job.
pick like which clients
Yeah.
you wanna, what kind of gigs you wanna accept and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You get told what
Yeah,
to do,
yeah.
which is something you like.
It's a fine balance between
Yeah, stuff that
Yeah.
you really like working on and stuff that you kind of have
Yeah.
to also lah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess I get it. It makes sense. I mean, for a long time, I also wondered like, but Jake has gigs. You know, Jake always has gigs. Why does he want to get a full-time job? And I never thought of it that way. You know, like the issue is not having projects. The issue is you have way too many, and you also want to keep it. You want to have a normal life. You know, you want to go back
wants
to
to be
having.
dominated.
Why must I say this kind of thing? You know. Walao.
People want to do what?
He does. So yeah, so right now Jake's looking for a job. So if you want to hire someone who clearly likes to be dominated, if you like that kind of thing. No lah, but I mean obviously go check out Jake's work. What's your website? What's your portfolio?
it's jiglo.co. You know,
JakeLow.co. It will be in the description box. Go check it out, and you will see a lot of like my face
Yeah.
and my brother's face. So yeah, check out all the videos that Jake has done for us.
That's a website on its own, jiglo.co.
Yeah, it's
oh,
a
wow.
website.
You've
And it's
known
also
him
my
for 8
Instagram
years.
handle.
Never seen
You
it.
have known him for 8
Yeah.
years, Oliver.
You never
Oh
seen my
my
website
gosh.
before? You saw it before?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
There's GIFs on it now.
Okay.
Quite cool.
Yeah, we will check it out.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll go check out those gifs.
Yeah, wow, it gives that. That's the selling point. Yeah, so for Oliver though, it's completely different because you just graduated. You just came back to Singapore in the last 2-3 months, and now you have officially started your job search. You know, you're
Yeah.
actually out
Yeah.
there actively applying.
Unfortunately.
What?
Very
Unfortunately.
unfortunately.
So okay, tell us briefly how the process has been.
It's been it's been a wild ride. No. I mean, it's really quite, I would say, tiring lah, because you you just apply. You know, there's really no end to how many jobs you can apply to. I've applied to like 42, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, and because now you know everything's online, so you're just going on all the different job sites and just applying to everything that you think could be remotely, you know, something that. But then again, the job search is something that's very different for everyone, lah. You know, some people really know what they want to do.
Yeah.
Me personally, I don't really know what I want to do, but I have some ideas, you know, as to the things that I can do and that the kind of companies or industries that I would want to work in. But yeah, there's always a lot of different factors to consider with every single offer, with every single like job offer that you see online. So what I tend to do is I just apply for everything, and then whatever comes back to me, then I try to get through it. I try to go through the entire process till the end, and then I think if I really want to take it or not. But so far, you know, it's been quite tiring because I don't know if it's really because of, the recession, or it's my CV, or so it gets you a little bit insecure because like you really don't get a lot of callbacks on your applications. So I mean, you just got to keep trying and just hope that the things you really want get back to you. And even if it's rare, like, there's nothing really that you can do. You just have to try. Yeah.
So to kind of like lay it all out there and kind of help people prepare themselves if they have to search for a job soon, you said that you applied for around like 40-ish jobs. How many like have reached out?
I would say 7 or 8 have given me a call back from just sending in the CV and all that. Which is not great, I would say.
But I mean, I definitely think it's, of course, I think at a time like this, like, I think a lot of massive companies are looking to hire. And it's also very like tricky because I'm pretty sure they're getting like hundreds and thousands of applications each week. So I know like amongst our group of friends also, a lot of people applied for like the massive companies, like Netflix, Disney Plus, stuff like that. And it's insane because like those are obviously the goals, and those are obviously we really want to hear back from them, but they obviously take the longest also because they have like insane hiring processes, I'm sure. And it's just so like I can get how it can make you like feel very really like insecure, or just make you feel really like, what am I doing wrong? Because no one's gonna tell you unless you actually go down for like an interview, and if they actually like, if you meet a really amazing like employer or interviewer who's gonna tell you like, oh, actually maybe like this could be done instead. Like, if someone's actually going to give you advice, it's very rare, I feel, because it's also not a very Singaporean thing to do, I feel.
The very first interview that I actually went for was very enlightening. Like, the guy that was interviewing me, it was for like a conference producing kind of role, like to do business conferences and all that. And the guy was so, like, he was very sharp and he was very genuine and honest. So he just told me straight up, from the moment I started the interview, at every point he was advising me on what I was doing right and what I was doing wrong. Which I was thinking, like, this saves me a lot of time, from having to leave the interview and think like, okay, how did I do? He was telling me how I did. So it was, I mean, like, he told me what I did that was good, and then he also told me that I dressed like I was going to Cine Leisure. I don't even know what that means, but then I realized that I didn't have socks on.
Wow.
My ankles were bare. So don't do that. If you go to a job interview, don't have your ankles bare.
He didn't like it.
He didn't like it. He
didn't want to see those
he thought I was a
ankles.
fool.
But no, I remember the day, like, you sent the picture, like y'all were hanging out and stuff. Like, you actually looked like you were dressed for an interview.
I was dressed very
Oh, I'm
formally,
very
but
confused.
my ankles were bare. That's the main thing. Like, I should have worn black socks,
You know what you did, Oli?
Fuck it up, sis. Fuck it up.
You fucked it up by not wearing socks. No lah, but I mean,
the other thing I did wrong was I went in with sunglasses on, and then when I said hi, I was like, "Hey, sup?"
Oli, you never start with that. Then you start with that, then we'll tell you already. Okay, we understand why
I
you
thought
didn't
he'd
get
be
it.
cool with it, lah. But
Okay, so clearly now we have learned from Oliver's traumatic experience. Let's never wear sunglasses to interviews. Take them off before you step into the room, and wear socks, please. Please wear socks. Well, I never would think like. I mean, honestly.
Wait, for real?
not the sunglasses.
No, they're not sunglasses, right?
I know it's a lie.
Yeah, it's a lie.
The sunglasses. Yeah,
You piece of shit. I really believe it because you're so weird.
seriously, you really believe?
Yeah, I thought you would do this kind of thing on
I
it.
thought it was a joke.
You think I would walk into a job interview and take off my sunglasses
Okay, I
and go,
don't.
hey, sup?
No, I don't think you would say sup, but I think maybe in a moment maybe you
Yeah,
take
just like,
off.
oh, yes, hi.
Yeah. Aya, don't anyhow lie. But anyways, wear socks lah, okay? So but how about you, Jake? Have you been to like any job interviews recently?
Yeah, I'll say just one. Just one physical one, and then another one online.
Did you wear socks?
Important question.
No.
Yeah.
I did not.
So you didn't get the job lah.
I
kidding.
still too early to say. No,
But how did it go? The physical one and the Zoom
the
one?
physical one was okay. Like the office was like empty because everyone was working from home.
Yeah.
And then like I just had the like a short, the super casual conversation with the interviewer.
Kind of like this.
Yeah, a bit like this,
It's a
like
podcast
how
that we're filming.
yeah on a round table.
Yeah. But did they like give you advice also, or was it just ask you everything they want to know and then that's it?
Yeah, it was just like asking everything they want to know, and then to sort of like preempt me on like what the job entails, and then then after that it's just like a email sort of communication. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess like what's
typical.
Yeah, that sounds very normal. Like that's an average job interview, I would say. But I guess what's your biggest takeaway from like the job interviews that like you've ever gone on in your life, or like even the Zoom one, every other interview you've been on? Like, what's the biggest takeaway? What's something that you are actively telling yourself to make sure you do for the next one, or to not do? You know. For you, Ollie, obviously you wear socks. Yeah. Yeah, how about you,
I would
Jake?
say speak in a very like a oh yeah that kind of voice.
Are you also
What kind of,
patronizing? You telling people to be fake? Jake. What's this?
I was literally gonna say the opposite. I was gonna say be honest there.
Well,
Okay,
I
let's
mean,
take all of us advice
like
this
like,
time.
like I would say like depends on the interviewer. If you can see as a bit super like corporate kind of person, like then
So suss it out lah.
yeah, suss it out lah. But if it's like super like chill and then you can be yourself, but it's super corporate and then you can just yeah. So for the next point, sounds good, that kind of thing.
I cannot believe you're telling people to be fake bitches.
I mean,
But-
you gotta fake it till make it lah.
Wow, you haven't gotten the full-time job yet. Don't say this kind of thing. No lah, but
Okay.
I mean, I guess maybe
Yeah.
to try and make sense of this, maybe be a bit more like responsive, or when the person's talking, like acknowledge them a bit more. Like don't seem like clueless. Like don't seem like don't give them a look that makes it seem like you're not listening to anything they're saying. Don't stare into blank space, I guess.
Yeah.
Just be a bit like receptive, responsive, and how about you, Ollie? What's something your biggest takeaway?
I mean, yeah lah. Okay, like that, like no matter how morally reprehensible that is, but no, like there is an element of you have to suit your demeanor to the interviewer. You know, like if they are very like they don't, you know, if they are taking it as a very like professional kind of thing, like they don't want to connect on a personal level at all, and they're just asking the kind of very job interview kind of question, then yeah, just do it like that and just use your whatever scripted. Yeah, not scripted, you know, like the answers that you
Whatever you prepared lah.
Yeah, whatever you've prepared. But if they are quite chill and, you know, they're kind of, you know, on some level they're talking to you as a normal person.
Like
then,
making small talk.
Yeah, then you can like just vibe with that, and it might make the whole thing better lah. Sometimes it does, you know.
Yeah, I think it probably would. And it will also like kind of help with your nerves, I guess, because
Yeah.
that's normal. Everyone's nervous at a job interview. So, yeah, but don't be the first one to make the small talk, because I guess maybe for a job interviewer, so they could have like 10 interviews lined up. They're not here to like be chummy with anyone. They just want to see who fits this job best and get on with their day. So I guess read the room. Read the room is a
Yeah.
huge
Read the
like
room.
piece of advice, I would say. And there's one more thing I wanted to ask you guys just now. Oh, yes. Okay, so you know, usually at the end of a job interview, people like the interviewer always ask, "Do you have any questions for us?"
Yeah.
Have you guys ever asked anything?
Yeah.
What are the questions? I want to know, because I'm very like hate conversation, and I'm always very awkward. So I in the moment I always just no, if there's anything like I will definitely reach out, but I cannot think of anything in the moment. Yeah. So but I haven't been in a job interview in years. Yeah. So what have you guys asked them?
I think for me, like the guy explained, you know, the what the job scope is and everything about the company. So partially, you know, it was a real question. It was an honest question that I had. But I think partially, like if you ask something about what they have talked to you about, if something that they've told you about the job, or like, oh, that part, like that thing that I'm supposed to do, how does it actually work, or you know, why do I have to do that, what's the rationale behind that, it shows them that you know, you're actually actively thinking about the role, and you're thinking about how it fits what you want to do and why you want to do it. So yeah, I think that shows a bit of proactivity,
Yeah.
independent thinking.
Yeah.
What have you asked?
Like for me, what I asked was like how do you like separate someone who's like good versus someone who's like better, you know, so like
Some philosophical
no,
questioning going on there.
like
Like how-
for someone
how do
that's
you
gonna
pick-
take on the role, right,
Uh-huh.
or the person that was previously in this role, how did you like determine if this guy was good or if he was exceptional, and
Kind
what
of
are
like
the,
metrics of success.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
how good,
sort of.
Okay,
Okay.
how to measure.
yeah
Yeah, I guess that's an interesting question.
yeah, then you can sort of judge if you'll be able to like step up to that.
like be
that
at their
thing,
level
yeah.
of better than good.
Yeah.
yeah. I guess, I mean, okay, so recently, right, like this is gonna sound very basic, but on TikTok I stumbled upon the video where, you know, like there are a lot of people who give you like advice, like how do you do like public speaking, or just maybe
you
like
sent me
job
one of
interview.
them,
Yeah, I sent Oliver one, like this guy was giving tips on like, if you want to write movie reviews, then you can write on this site. I sent to Ollie because he actually like loves writing movie reviews. So yeah, so on TikTok it's actually pretty useful when you're not on the weird side of it, but yeah, on the basic side of it. But so I stumbled upon one that's like it was about job interviews, it was advice. So, and then the lady said, when they're always gonna ask you what are some questions you have for us, and I think she put out a whole list of questions, but one I thought was really it's really basic, but it also shows that you are actually actively thinking about, okay, what would my life be like if I got this role? Because you're already thinking that at that level. The question was just like, what would a day in this role look like for me? You know, and then I just thought like that's such a basic question, because they can tell you job scope, they can tell you all these things, but it doesn't mean that's your day to day, and it doesn't mean like, you know, every day you're gonna touch a little bit of each aspect of this job scope. It's completely different. You know, in reality, a normal day for like someone who does like social media stuff, you know, wake up, you gotta check this account, check that account, check your stats, you gotta like note down this and that. So I guess asking like what to expect in your actual day to day is a good question also, because it's very different from what's on paper and what they put out there, because it could also be very fluff and look very good, but in reality you could also be doing a lot of really lame things. So get that out of the way also, and it also like helps the job interviewer realize that you're also thinking many steps ahead. You're thinking about if you already got this role. So yeah, I guess, like, do you guys have any more advice, like if someone's about to go on a job interview, what else should they prep or have, or
I mean, dress well, you know, have a good looking CV, and try to, you know, bring a printout of your CV just so that when you go to the interview, you can hand them, so they don't have to, you know, print it out or anything. Like, it just shows a bit more proactivity.
Yeah.
And I would say one thing about CVs is to not put your skill rating.
Yeah, you mentioned this before.
Well, gonna offend some of our friends. They have skill ratings.
Yeah, you gotta take it out, man.
Okay, why?
Take them
Explain.
out.
Explain why.
Because it's a dumb student thing, lah. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Honestly, back in school, when, because we were in Mass Comm, obviously when, like, I think when we were year 2, and before we went for internships, we obviously were told by our teachers to start preparing CVs and resumes, portfolios, all these things. So that's when all of us actively as a group of friends started working on all our like resumes together. And it's the one thing that everybody does, your proficiency level. And then you...
Graph.
Yeah, so you kind of like, it's a bar, then, or a graph or whatever, and then you fill up like how good you are at something, and then you put it at the 3/4 mark if you think you're not bad but you don't want to be overconfident. And then nobody dares to put 100% because you're just gonna look like a cocky bastard. So damn rude. But you know, and then you cannot put like 10%, because why would you put it on your CV if you suck at it, right?
That's why.
Yeah, so I get what you mean. Like, that's a very like, it looks good, it's very aesthetic.
Yeah.
But actually,
It's
Kinda silly
meaningless.
lah.
There's no standard like test for like Photoshop. Right? There's no like worldwide standard test. So how can you say like you're 69% better than someone who got like a 66%?
Yeah,
you know? So
that's
like
true.
what's the extra like 3%?
But on LinkedIn, you can now take a test.
Yeah.
So actually, I realized this. I mean, because I haven't really updated my LinkedIn, because it's weird lah. Like, if you see me on social media, then I update LinkedIn for what? Like, you know everything I do on Facebook or YouTube. So when I went in recently to just like check out all the million notifications, then I realized that you can actually take a Photoshop test, you can take a Premiere Pro test, and it's extremely technical. It's like you can use Premiere Pro for years, but then the stuff that they ask you is like stuff that you've never ever encountered in your time using Premiere Pro lah. So it's pretty cool. So because I guess that's the standard testing
I
kind of
guess
thing.
so.
So that's the mark.
That badge.
So I remember failing my Photoshop one, but I passed the Premiere Pro one. So that's official now, verified on like my
That's nice.
LinkedIn page. So that's cool. But I get the whole don't put your proficiency level, because it's like, what's, you know, why are you only 75? What's this 25% that you're not good at? You know, it's just, when you break it down, it's kind of weird. It just looks.
And it takes up space on your CV that could really be used for better things, I think.
Yeah.
What's something that you should include, like must include?
I'd say just if you're like confident of your skills, just put the
Like put
software
what you
there.
use lah.
Yeah, not like the percentage or whatever.
Right.
But I'm not sure. Like, do you put like addresses on your CV?
Yeah, I think
I
that's
do.
something that I see.
No, I don't know. I didn't put address. No.
I think it's more of a
address.
cover letter thing, but cover letter and resume, I also don't really know what's the difference. I guess that's more non-aesthetic and just...
Oh no, cover letter is like you send something additional to the CV, like just a letter to talk about why you want that role.
Oh,
Whereas the CV is just, you know, all your stuff lah.
and a CV and resume are the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just, I found from Oliver, it's just the Latin name. Everyone just says CV, nobody says it out loud. So say it.
CV is curriculum vitae.
Yep.
I asked you to sit and I scold you for yapping.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, so I guess those are obviously some things to have prepped for like your next job interview, or if you are still like maybe still schooling, gonna graduate soon, like these are some things to obviously think about, career prospects and things that you should always like be ready to work on lah. Whenever you never know when you're gonna have to send this out ASAP, and you don't have to work on it last minute, which is something that all of our friends do. Like we all work on it the moment we need it, and it's
Yeah.
very stressful because we're just trying to recall everything we learned from school or what we're supposed to put in it. So yeah lah, but of course, it's very like useful to have like a group of friends who've all like we've all been in the same school, we learn all the same things, so it's easy to like just ask everyone and anyone when we need stuff, or like what should I add in my CV, or like
He helped
Jake
me,
will.
design my
Oh.
CV.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Fun fact, when we were back in school, we had to redesign a website for one of our modules, and Oliver was so painful to like be around at that point of our lives because he wanted to put rainbow gradient on everything. It's like,
I dare say my final product was quite aesthetic.
aka really bad. So I'm kidding. Yeah, really bad. No lah, but yeah, I think it's so insane though, because now when we look back, we're not obviously like I think the three of us, we don't talk about things like web design, coding, but I'm so glad we went to Mass Comm because we have, it's kind of like jack of all trades lah, but doesn't mean we're good at anything lah, which is just we have learned quite a little bit of everything and anything. So I'm definitely grateful for that. And yeah, I think having the internship experience also obviously prepped us for this current job search moment, and what do you need to have, what do you need to say at a job interview, or what do you need to ask, and like the kind of jobs that you even like because of all our Mass Comm experience and everything. So yeah, I'm glad that we went there, been there, done that, and hopefully like you guys got enough advice, and hopefully this was useful. But if it's not, then it's Jake's fault lah. It's all Jake's fault.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess one of the final questions I have for you guys is, like, how everyone talks about paper qualification, is that really it? Does that really matter as much as a lot of people say it does? And I think I guess I just want to ask you guys, because you do have degrees, you both do have degrees. So do you think that it really matters as much as a lot of people think it does?
No.
No, that's it?
It depends on what sort of sector that you're looking to enter.
Okay,
If,
but
you know,
specific to
specifically
media
media.
industry only. Yeah.
I'll say no, your portfolio matters more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you gotta get all your school projects looking good and done well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think even the media sector is still quite diverse. So for certain things, I don't know, like maybe things that involve a bit more, not so much creative work, but more like analytical, like or like, I don't know, social media analytics or whatever kind of bullshit lah. Like they do consider things like the power of your degree in terms of like you learn, I don't know, statistical research or like these kind of very technical things lah.
Yeah.
So I guess for creatives is really more on the portfolio and the connections you have, but certain other aspects, like it does come into play a little bit, and it also, like we mentioned earlier, like it gives you a little bit of an edge, like in terms of getting in there, getting your CV looking a little bit better than the others and commanding a possibly higher pay. Or,
Yeah. I think that's a lot of people like out there who decide to get a degree or get that paper qualification. I think that's a huge determining factor. Like the fact that when you get your first job, you can already be at this level or this role, and you don't have to start a little lower, and you can command a way higher pay. So I mean, that's obviously a very practical and a very real thing to consider, because it's the real world. You're getting a job to make money, make a living, so you gotta pay bills. So that's a very legit like concern lah, and that's something that we should all definitely think about, because if we have a very extensive portfolio already and you're creative, then I think just go for it. You don't have to like get a paper qualification for the sake of it. And a lot of the media industry comes like a lot of as diverse as it is, I think a lot of like things matter on like depend on your experience. Like even if you work somewhere, like if you're working in journalism as well, if you've covered like some insane stories, you worked on some like crazy times, or even like COVID pandemic, then I think your portfolio is just gonna look amazing. So it's a lot of like working your ass off lah, and getting a lot in that portfolio. And of course, if at the end of the day you just want to get a kind of like a little jump start, then a paper qualification definitely does would help you out there lah.
Yeah, and like I'll also say that aside from the increased like salary, right, that you might possibly get, also think of like the increased amount that you have to spend on your degree. And like if that increase of salary is able to
worth it lah.
offset, or maybe it might just lead you down to a further like hole of debt.
Ooh, yeah, that's a very real thing to consider, because getting a degree is not cheap, even if you do it locally. Yeah, there are subsidies and stuff like that, but I think a lot of our friends also who study overseas, they do things like get loans, and it's also the stress of coming back from your overseas degree and having to quickly get a job so you can start paying off loans. Like, that is very stressful. And of course, in unprecedented times like now, you know, that urgency, the need to get that job ASAP is going to sometimes make you get a job that you really don't want to do, or you get stuck at for a long time. So there are a lot of things to consider. So if you want the freedom to be able to choose what you want and really like take your time with it to choose a job that you really love, then I think maybe like, of course, you can't feel like indebted to things like a loan and feel the need to like have to rush and do all these things ASAP. So of course, yeah, the price point is definitely something you have to consider for sure. Yeah. So I guess since the both of you are actively looking for jobs, I guess I want to ask, what are you looking for, like, for both of you?
No, I am looking to
What?
I am looking to serve coffee. No, I mean, I'm trying to. I think the main sector that I'm trying to break into is journalism. I'm applied to many of the big, news agencies and all. But that's a little bit difficult because I don't have prior formal experience doing journalism. But I think I can, possibly learn to do it. So, so that's the main thing. And so I think one of the things that I've been trying to do to get a little bit of edge in that in that way is I created like an Instagram to just write some film reviews, and because it's not something that I've ever done before, but I always thought that I can definitely do that so I created just to have a sort of log of writing portfolio or whatever, and so I put it on a portfolio website, and now that is something that I can send in together with my CV and all that to journalism offers so
Making use of social media.
Nice.
Yeah. So how about you, Jake? What are you looking for?
I'll say something that is like a slight shift away from like the physical workings of doing video. So I'm looking to do more of like a more of like ideation sort
Like
of things. Yeah, conceptualizing, maybe like art director kind of
Makes
thing,
sense.
rather than executing the thing.
Yeah, like rather than being the person who is on set holding the camera, you also want to be behind the scenes planning everything, conceptualizing.
Yeah, so I feel like that's the next like progression for me.
Yeah, that seems like the natural like next step. Yeah, but and what are you like? What steps are you taking to like get there?
Just looking out for like art director roles or something, and trying to avoid like editing jobs, like editing roles. Like I see a lot of like video editing, blah blah blah. But then
because you sian already lah. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, it's
even it's a
honestly
long
damn
time.
sian lah, and it's very tiring and very like.
I mean, that's essentially editing lah.
Yeah lah, yeah.
Yeah lah.
And the thing that I hate most about editing is editing other people's footage.
Yes, I know that about Jake, because sometimes like I would want to like I would already like film something or like have something filmed, and I just need someone to help me edit because I have no time. And I asked Jake before, and he like, I prefer not to film. I prefer not to edit like someone else's footage. I just like, you piece of shit lah, just help me lah.
He very protective of his stuff.
No lah, but I get it lah. I get like if you weren't there for the shoot, then editing someone else's work is very like like you weren't there. You don't know what they expect, like how they envisioned it to look like. So it's
and he
it's very
doesn't
different.
like other people editing his footage.
Really
I don't know lah. I'm dead.
Hey, I edit all your footage
I'm okay,
all the time.
I'm okay. Yeah, it's fine.
You
Yeah,
should
it's
I
fine.
edit?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, but
He
editing because
hates
editing
us.
is more of a like a
Tedious.
tedious job.
Very
lah.
tedious.
You like sift through all the bad footage and pick up the good parts and.
Especially when you're editing like super long form videos, and I think like Jake is currently working on something that's like an hour-ish long.
Yeah, 1
So,
hour 30 minutes.
Yeah, so that's insane because the stuff I work on is like maximum like 10-ish minutes, 20 minutes. So that's like next level shit lah.
a lot of like stats, a lot of like percentages and graphs and whatnot.
Yeah, I can imagine how like intense that gets, and when you edit through the night, it's like you just like to not sleep and do this is very very exhausting lah. Of course, so I guess my final question is, what are your dream jobs? Like, where's maybe like a company you've always wanted to work at, like the goal, just be as ambitious as possible and nothing is too big. Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah, but sorry. But yeah.
I'd say like dream job is to work on like a proper like advertisement or like Hollywood film as a cinematographer.
By proper advertisement, you mean like TVC,
Like proper
big,
TVC, like
yeah, big
for like
budget.
Super Bowl, that sort of shit. You know, like
I didn't say Super Bowl. I said proper TVC. I thought on the Dove commercial on TV, that kind. Yeah, but yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane. The Super Bowl commercials are obviously the best kind of commercials. The only commercials that we all look forward to watch. So that'll be very cool.
yeah, that market lah, basically, like overseas.
Ollie?
Yeah, I think a bit. We're all into film lah. So
Yeah.
for me, like I always thought that I would like to be, like a studio exec, like a big wig in a big Hollywood studio kind of thing. Like to be the one deciding which scripts get made, which don't. You know, which potential ideas are really workable, and you know, like who should do it. You know, and like which director.
Yeah.
You know, what with the cast and everything. Like that to me is the most exciting thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are some pretty big goals, friends. Pretty big dreams.
We shall see. We
Check
shall
back
see.
next week and see if we achieve them.
Try back next century. But yeah, and then I've always dreamt of having my friends on a podcast. So here I am.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, thank you so much for being on this episode. I hope that it's really useful for people out there who are gonna look for a job sometime soon, or also looking for a job in this current COVID climate. And all the best to everyone out there. All the best. Hopefully, like the advice here has been useful. And if you have any other questions, like feel free to comment below, and if we can help, then we help lah. But then I also never pay them, then I ask them comment for me. Man.
Like,
So-
what's your dream job?
Me?
Yeah.
Wow, very good question. I don't know. Honestly.
Is it this?
Okay, so obviously
I mean, but
I've
maybe
never.
this, but times 10.
Right.
Yeah, I would say this, but times a million lah.
So if I
So
ask
you'll
you to
be
be
God.
Wow.
and like a Hollywood actress, would you want to do that?
But
Or
that's
would you
the
still
thing.
want to be like sort of like influencer?
I don't know why. I feel like if I were to like do anything movie related, I would want to do like the Preetipls movie. You know, I
Right,
wouldn't want to
right.
like
As yourself, not
be an actress.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, y'all know me lah. I've never set out to like act or like be in front of the camera. Like, yeah, it's never been like that. It's always like come up with fun stuff and then like make it happen. Like make your dreams into reality kind of thing, you know. But for me, it's always just crazy videos lah, funny videos, so parodies, all these things. So
What about politics, like Michelle Obama kind of figure?
why? You
No, I mean,
think
I'm
I can
just
be
asking.
president? Then you say lah. No lah, but yeah, I definitely think recently, obviously, I've been like actually invested
Yeah.
and finally giving a shit about things like politics, because let's be real, I never did. So I really think the possibilities are quite endless, and I'm not gonna like I don't know, I'm not gonna restrict myself
Yeah.
and like put anything on it. But I mean, even starting this podcast, I've thought about it for so long, and to me it was always the natural next step, because I love radio, you know. I've always wanted to do something like this. So this is already me achieving like a huge goal of mine
Yeah,
lah. So I
it's
think for
amazing.
me, I'm just gonna take it each day at a time. If any other idea comes out, then we'll try and make it happen lah. Yeah. So thanks for being on this episode.
Yeah,
and
no
and
worries. Thanks for having
before
us.
before we end, we always do this thing where we apologize to anyone that we might have offended throughout the course of this whole episode.
Wow,
But it's
didn't know that.
usually like
Oh.
full of shit apologies lah. So I'm gonna begin by saying I'm sorry to Jake, because for no reason Oliver and I have just been kind of mean to him. Like
it's
off camera
okay,
and
man.
on. Shut up lah,
It's
Jake.
alright. they edited one part out. Just now they slapped me in my face. So if you're watching this, they cut that part out.
He's not lying.
They're gonna edit this part out.
No, we're not. We're gonna keep this in. Yeah, but I mean, I guess another apology is to everyone out. Oh, the guy that had to interview Oliver and see his sockless ankles. I apologize to him. Now we all get to see them. So, any other apologies from today? Anything you think of?
I'm pretty unapologetically
Okay.
myself, lah.
I'm okay.
Assholes. So I take it as that was an apology to me for being dumbasses. But yeah, so before we finally end the episode, I do this thing where we recommend a song to people out there. So for this episode, because it's all about the job search, working, school, everything that has prepared us for the industry that we're in today. So the first song that my song recommendation for this episode is basic as it gets. She says the word work like 20 times in the
Really?
chorus.
I didn't hear that.
Okay, let's do it again.
Work. To me, I be work,
Okay, now that you've heard it. Yeah, so Rihanna's work is my song recommendation. So honestly, it's all about working your ass off, lah. Like building the portfolio, doing your research when it comes to what kind of degree you want to get, what do you want to study, what do you want to do, and just actually investing all that time in yourself to figure out and take your time with it to figure out what you truly want to do and what is it that you truly enjoy and can make a career out of. So Jake, what is your song recommendation for today?
My song recommendation is Caffeine by Lolo Zoe.
He had to Google her name and check out how to pronounce it before this episode.
It's a
Okay.
weird-
I'm pretty
it's
sure it was
weird-
closer to Zuai.
So I don't know. It's I have a dot.
Okay, let's listen to it now. Of late nights editing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
7
And
a.m.
That's the life.
so just busy to prep people.
Yeah.
The job
Get
search
ready.
is gonna be very tedious, very exhausting, but it will be worth it if you wait long enough and if you find something you love, lah. Yeah. How about you, Ollie? Your song recommendation?
My song recommendation is Space Song by Beach House.
Okay, let's hear it. Why this song?
So it's really just like it has nothing to do with work. It's just a depression.
Yeah, I was thinking like
it's a depression jam for me like these past few weeks because like it can get very like it's stressful and it's also tiring and it's also like you feel quite drained sometimes because you don't really get the results that you expected or hoped for. So sometimes you need a little music to keep you in balance.
Keep you like sad, eh?
Keep you keep
Make
you
you
sad lah.
extra
that's the
well,
vibe.
Yeah, there's some people who, when they're sad, only listen to sad songs, and Ollie's one of them. So, yeah, I mean, it's a really nice song though, so check it out. And also, yeah, the job search can be very exhausting. You're gonna feel very like insecure, and also maybe like feel very like beaten down sometimes, especially if your job interview doesn't go well. So don't be discouraged. Don't get demoralized because you can easily fall into that trap and not want to like continue the job search or just feel like your skills aren't good enough or you're not good enough and all these things. So don't let that don't fall into that trap and just keep like just also read the room and realize that it's a very tough situation right now for a lot of people, and it's going to be very tough to find a job in general, and it already was. It's just extra tough now. So don't be too hard on yourselves and just try and keep trying again, because it will be worth it when it all comes through and you work at a place that you love. So with that said, you can apply for the Preetipls internship. I'm joking, that was really good though. Yeah, but once again, thank you so much, Jake and Oliver, for being here. And it's very weird because we go way back and I don't ever speak to them this nicely. So yeah, you're welcome. I was kind of nice to you today.
That's all right.
Yeah. Anything you want to say before we end this episode?
One of our friends, Ashraf, he did say something to me that I thought was very good about job search. Like, he said that don't worry so much about like not being good enough for the role that you're applying for, or like for the kind of work that you want to do, because he said that, I don't know whether it's true lah, he said we all suck at what we do. What I took from that was that
There's always someone better lah, right?
yeah, we can always be better. There's always someone better, so don't think that you're not good enough. Just try and be good enough.
Yeah. I think with that, don't feel shitty about yourself, because there are a lot of people out there who suck more than you. I'm kidding. But yeah, with that, we've come to the end of episode 5 of
Try me, bitch.
And thank you so much, Jake and Oliver. I hope you guys found this episode useful. If you didn't, then feel free to comment below and say, Jake sucks. Okay, goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.
You've just made it to the end of an episode of Chai Me Bitch. Wow, you listened to the whole thing, You like me, then say lah. But if you liked it, make sure you're followed and subscribed so you know every time a new episode of Chai Me Bitch or any other Preetipls video is out. Okay, bye-bye.